Ultimate Gohan or Unleashed Potential. Ultimate Gohan is a transformation achieved by Son Gohan after Elder Kaiōshin unlocked his potential. Despite appearing to be in his normal state, Gohan, in actuality, is using the power of Super Saiyan 2 without the burden the latter transformation places on his body. As a result, Gohan is able to achieve a power beyond Super Saiyan 2 and even Super Saiyan 3, ultimately being even with Super Saiyan Blue after constant training. Potential Unleashed, also called Ultimate Form, is a powerful state accessible to someone who has had their latent potential unlocked, most often through Old Kai's unlock ability, which allows them to use their latent power at its highest level. As a result of this, the user enters into a state that unleashes their full dormant potential and can focus it to push their power well beyond their normal limits. Appearance and Personality. Out of all the transformations in the series, the Ultimate Gohan state brings about the least amount of changes. In terms of appearance, Gohan doesn't alter drastically, something everyone who looks at him while in this state can notice. The only notable physical changes, besides a slight increase to his muscle mass, is slightly more upright and rigid hair, and a narrowing of Gohan's eyes. Gohan's aura also retains its normal hue, instead of the traditional gold one would expect from a Super Saiyan. The Ultimate Gohan state grants Gohan a pure white, occasionally almost transparent, aura. When Gohan accesses his potential unleashed state, his appearance does not undergo any drastic changes. While he essentially remains normal in appearance, his facial features become slightly more defined. His eyes become sterner and outlined, showing noticeable intensity when serious, similar to his Super Saiyan forms. In the anime version of the Universe Survival Saga, it also tends to make a bang of hair fall over his forehead. This does not occur in the God of Destruction Beerus saga. In this form, he is dubbed Ultimate Gohan. When taking on his ultimate state, Gohan's transformation releases enough force to split the clouds. For Piccolo, his body takes on a yellowish hue, losing the lines along his arms. His aura appears to take on the same golden glow, similar to that of a Super Saiyan. His belt also changes from red to black. In the Xenoverse series and the Dragon Ball Super anime, this transformation also gives the user a vivid white aura, as well as a noticeable white glow off of their body. In the digital colored version of the Dragon Ball Super manga, when this state has an aura active, it appears golden. While in this state, Gohan exhibits the confidence and arrogance, as well as a seriousness, that typically comes with a new leap in power. When transformed, Gohan was self-assured in his ability to defeat the fused evil Majin Buu, declaring to the Majin that he hadn't arrived to fight Buu, but he had arrived to kill him. During the fight, Gohan showed a joy in taunting Majin Buu's own powerlessness, mocking the Majin's inability to land a blow on him, and it was only when the tables were turned that Gohan's confidence shattered. Piccolo, who had known Gohan since he was a child, could feel the difference in his attitude by simply the vibe Gohan was giving off when the Saiyan arrived to confront Majin Buu. The change itself was so drastic that Piccolo originally believed it wasn't Gohan, but someone entirely different. Attributes. Ultimate Gohan is the culmination of Super Saiyan 2 for Gohan, and is essentially the state without placing limitations on Gohan's body. While utilizing the Ultimate Gohan state, Gohan possesses his full strength as a Super Saiyan 2 without the anger or the loss of energy typically required to sustain the form. Gohan is the only known user of this transformation, provided by the Elder Kaiōshin's ritual, and the known results of the transformation are based on Gohan's strength as a Super Saiyan 2. In the anime, upon powering up on the Kaiōshin realm, Gohan's power was enough to cause the planet, stated to be a very durable planet, unlike standard ones found in the living world, to tremble, creating something akin to a miniature storm. Just releasing his ki was enough to shock Goku, who was well above Gohan in terms of power before the transformation occurred. In terms of outright strength, Gohan's Ultimate Gohan form appears to be vastly superior to the Super Saiyan 3 transformation, though by how much is unclear. Gohan effortlessly dominated Majin Buu, a creature that even Gotenks could only match when using his Super Saiyan 3 form, showing Ultimate Gohan's complete superiority over the final Super Saiyan form. When Majin Buu would later go on to absorb Gotenks and combine his Super Saiyan 3 power with his own in battle, however, Gohan was completely dominated. In the anime, however, Gohan was able to briefly fight the transformed Majin until his powers began to wane. Additionally, it appears to lack any drawbacks entirely, as the form only draws out Gohan's own potential and nothing more. According to Piccolo, Ultimate Gohan changes the signature of Gohan's ki entirely. Not even Piccolo recognized Gohan when he felt a new ki rushing towards the location of their battle with Majin Buu. Gohan's superiority to the Super Saiyan 3 transformation would later be shown again during the Dragon Team's battle with Hakaishin Beerus. Out of all the fighters present, Gohan was among two, the other being Vegeta, who could make contact with Beerus in the battle, something that even Son Goku in his Super Saiyan 3 state was unable to accomplish. However, he was no match for the deity and was quickly dispatched with a blow to the abdomen. As it is Gohan's fully mastered Super Saiyan 2, Gohan is capable of transforming into this state from any one of his previous states. Upon further training, Gohan's power within this form was as great as Super Saiyan Blue, overpowering his father using it, who transformed to Super Saiyan Blue Kaiōshin to beat Gohan in this state. In the manga, Gohan's ultimate Gohan form was ultimately equal to that of the fused warrior Keflas, the two fighting to a standstill and ultimately wringing each other out. Usage and power. The power of Gohan's potential unleashed form was stated to be greater than the Super Saiyan 3 transformation. Thanks to it being a different power boost from Super Saiyan, Gohan no longer needs that form. While normally taking roughly a day to perform and complete the ritual by Old Kai, Gohan's exceptionally immense dormant capacities required Gohan to continue for several more hours. Once finished, Gohan was instructed to power up as if to transform into Super Saiyan, but to throw in a ki while doing so. When Gohan did so, his first transformation sent massive shockwaves rippling across the sacred world of the Kai and left even Goku astounded at the sheer power his son now possessed. Old Kai explained that Gohan's unchanging appearance was the result of Gohan naturally harnessing so much power that there was no need to transform. At the time, Ultimate Gohan exceeded even Super Saiyan 3 Goku's might. While in this state, it also improves one's sense, as Gohan does not require his glasses to properly see. Gohan is able to maintain this state indefinitely throughout his daily life unhindered. Despite being a natural state that unlocks one's most inner developed capacities, regular training is still required to keep up his peak performance after the initial release, as lack of such will leave the person unable to access this state. The state can however be quickly accessed through either training or rage. After a reunion with Goten, Trunks, and Piccolo, Gohan quickly overpowers Super Buu with little effort. As Super Buu became unable to land a single hit on Gohan, who subsequently pummels the monster mercilessly, Super Buu proceeds to blow himself up in an attempt to kill Gohan. However, Gohan succeeds in escaping the explosion, taking Piccolo and the boys to safety with him. Super Buu returns 1 hour later, insisting on finishing his fight with Gotenks before battling Gohan. However, once the boys fused into Gotenks, they, as well as Piccolo, are immediately absorbed by Super Buu. With his new power, Super Buu's strength was on par with Ultimate Gohan's. However, thanks to Piccolo's superior combat skills and intellect, Super Buu was able to gain the upper hand by playing mind games with Gohan to catch him off guard and systematically wear him down. Realizing that the odds were now against Gohan, a newly revived Goku suddenly arrives and attempts to use the Pod-era earrings to allow both him and Gohan to fuse together. However, Gohan accidentally drops the earring, and, by the time he managed to find it, Gotenks had defused inside Super Buu's body, prompting the evil Majin to absorb Gohan and become more powerful than ever. Buu greatly enjoyed the lack of a time limit on the power he gained from Gohan's ultimate state, but Super Vegito still thrashed him in the following battle. In Dragon Ball Super, Gohan powered up into his potential unleashed state in order to fight against the god of destruction Beerus. However, he was easily incapacitated by the god. Later, during Frieza's revenge, Gohan is revealed to have lost most of his power after giving up fighting to focus purely on his education, though he was noted to still be stronger than Piccolo. In order to compensate somewhat for his diminished performance, Gohan relied on Super Saiyan, which allowed Gohan to knock down Captain Ginyu even after he went beyond Tagoma's full power. Gohan noted that maintaining his Super Saiyan form with his diminished conditioning caused a considerable strain on his body, preventing him from using it for long. After a reunion with Goten, Trunks, and Piccolo, Gohan quickly overpowers Super Buu with little effort. As Super Buu became unable to land a single hit on Gohan, who subsequently pummels the monster mercilessly, Super Buu proceeds to blow himself up in an attempt to kill Gohan. However, Gohan succeeds in escaping the explosion, taking Piccolo and the boys to safety with him. Super Buu returns 1 hour later, insisting on finishing his fight with Gotenks before battling Gohan. However, once the boys fused into Gotenks, they, as well as Piccolo, are immediately absorbed by Super Buu. With his new power, Super Buu's strength was on par with Ultimate Gohan's. However, thanks to Piccolo's superior combat skills and intellect, Super Buu was able to gain the upper hand by playing mind games with Gohan to catch him off guard and systematically wear him down. Realizing that the odds were now against Gohan, a newly revived Goku suddenly arrives and attempts to use the Pod-era earrings to allow both him and Gohan to fuse together. However, Gohan accidentally drops the earring, and, by the time he managed to find it, Gotenks had defused inside Super Buu's body, prompting the evil Majin to absorb Gohan and become more powerful than ever. Buu greatly enjoyed the lack of a time limit on the power he gained from Gohan's ultimate state, but Super Vegito still thrashed him in the following battle. In Dragon Ball Super, Gohan powered up into his potential unleashed state in order to fight against the god of destruction Beerus. However, he was easily incapacitated by the god. Later, during Frieza's revenge, Gohan is revealed to have lost most of his power after giving up fighting to focus purely on his education, though he was noted to still be stronger than Piccolo. In order to compensate somewhat for his diminished performance, Gohan relied on Super Saiyan, which allowed Gohan to knock down Captain Ginyu even after he went beyond Tagoma's full power. Gohan noted that maintaining his Super Saiyan form with his diminished conditioning caused a considerable strain on his body, preventing him from using it for long. In the anime, Gohan later fought against Goku with this power in a practice battle royale. At his initial level of power, Gohan was shown to roughly be on par with Super Saiyan 2 Goku. When Goku further transformed into a Super Saiyan Blue and Gohan used his full might of his potential unleashed power, he was able to hold his own against his father, but in the end, he was beaten in one hit when Goku powered himself up using the Kaioken. In the anime version of the Tournament of Power, Gohan used his potential unleashed form to battle and defeat Obni. He then used his fully powered potential unleashed state to gain an advantage over final form Frieza and pushed him back when they were acting so that Frieza could gain Frost's trust. True Golden Frieza proved to be able to quickly take down Ultimate Gohan during the bout only because they were faking to knock out Frost. Gohan again used this state at full power to battle Sayanol and Pilina when their powers stabilized. Gohan then uses it against the Universe 3 fused warriors Koisiarita and Agnalasa. He used it again against Top and Dispo. In the manga, after his training with Piccolo for the Tournament of Power, Gohan is permanently in his potential unleashed state and, as such, uses it for the entirety of the tournament facing foes such as the Trio de Dangers and Meteop, but only utilized its full power to battle Super Saiyan Kefla. In this state, he was able to fight evenly with her, with Piccolo noting that Gohan was initially only as strong as he had been in the past previously but had gotten stronger as a result of his fight with Kefla. Krillin suggests that he could even surpass perfected Super Saiyan Blue Goku if he dedicated himself to training. The fight eventually led to both combatants becoming exhausted and knocking each other out of the ring, resulting in Universe SIX's erasure. During a battle with Moro's henchmen, Piccolo notes that Gohan is the strongest fighter on Earth, not including Goku and Vegeta, making Ultimate Gohan even more powerful than Android 17. Ultimate Gohan is able to take down 7-3 with ease when he is using Piccolo's powers, but is quickly overwhelmed when the android uses Moro's powers, going on to drain Gohan and the other fighters' energy and allowing Yunba to beat him down. Later, during Moro's attack on Earth, 7-3 steals Gohan's powers and gains access to his potential unleashed power. However, he proves to be no match for the combined might of Gohan and Piccolo and is ultimately defeated with a Masenko beam cannon.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.